Yes, I've not started speaking. Good evening, everybody.
Am I going to share your... Okay, you know what?
Please do. Please do.
Okay, I think I made this mistake last week and I almost made it again today. I'm going to say something briefly about Pastor Niyi. He doesn't like showing us his face. He does a lot for the platform behind the scenes. He doesn't ever like showing his face, but today we see his face. So he's also an engineer. He is a mechanical engineer with over 29 years of experience in the oil and gas industry. He's a retail investor. Pastor, please tell us what retail investing is when you start. And he's also a financial education sponsor. And when I say financial education sponsor, they just take it like that. That's the English. That's what it means. He likes to sponsor financial education. He likes to teach people financial education literacy. He wants people to be enlightened about what to do with their money. And he's in many investing forums, and he's popularly known as Wanajo. He's passionate about educating people on how to use financial intelligence to make smart investment decisions toward wealth creation. He will help us understand today. Last week he helped us to understand investing early, compound interest, and wealth building. Today, we're here to hear what he has to share with us. You want me to share your...
Share the slides from your hand.
Okay, I'll do that right away.
Okay, so good evening once again, everybody. I'm not a coach. I'm not a specialist. I'm just an ordinary human being like most of us. So after a coach has finished speaking, I'm not sure there is much more to say again. So I guess the only thing we'll just do is to share experiences, have some discussions, and hopefully we have enough time to take questions. I pondered over what I should call the topic, and so it took me a long time, but at the end of the day, I said, okay, starting early, finishing strong. I'm not so sure what the audience looks like in terms of demography. Are we mainly students or are we majorly adults? I know that last week we had a session that focused mainly on students. So today we will try to look at maybe the young adults and the middle age, and also the big madams like Madam Bimbo also. Next slide. So in terms of agenda, I would just speak briefly about how to start early, things to be aware of. Then we talk about finishing strong. And my prayer is each one of us will finish strong in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Okay. I know this is not a church, so apologies. I just have a graph there that talks about how to get wealthy. And all what we have been talking about can be summarized in this simple chart. Most of the things we'll be talking about today, we also revolve around that. So next slide. How to start early. I mean, it's very simple. If you don't have to fail to have a plan is to prepare to fail. That used to be a jingle that I used to hear growing up on radio. So I think each one of us needs to have a financial plan. And a financial plan is so simple. You don't need to get anybody to do it for you. You can just do it by yourself. It's basically asking yourself, where am I right now, which is your current reality? Where am I going, your destination, which is your goals and your aspirations? And lastly, how do I get there? What do I need to do to get there? So your current reality can be your asset currently, and your asset will be both what you own and what you owe. So your debts, from as accountant will say, is also an asset. So basically, where are you now? What are the things that you have? What are the things that you own? Sometimes some of the things that we own are not assets, are actually liabilities, but maybe today or some other days we have time to talk about that. where you are going is your destination, your aspiration. And we need to have short-term goals, medium-term goals, long-term goals. One of the things that always make me laugh, and I will share an example of a cousin of mine who finished university and has been working for some years. I think now it will be like 56. So he has BSc, MSc, PhD. He has been working in government. He's almost a director or so now. And suddenly he's afraid of retirement. I mean, retirement age in the public service, I think he's 60. So he has like 4, 5 more years to go. And because of that, he's thinking of maybe joining the university where retirement age is 65. And if you are a professor, it becomes 70. And one of the questions I asked myself was, from the first day you started working, you already know that there is a retirement age. One day, you will leave that place. So what is your plan? You can't, at the age of 56, start to rush to plan. And most times, I mean, if you are 23, 24 and you start working, 60 looks so far away from you. I mean, it's like, it seems like eternity. But believe you me sincerely, time goes so fast. Before you know it, you spend 10 years. Before you know it, you spend 20 years. Before you know it, retirement is just staring you at the face. So you are wondering, wow, where has all the time gone to? So it's always good to understand where you are going, what are your aspirations, what are your goals, and have a plan of how you are going to get there. And part of those plans may include, I'm going to get married, I'm going to have children, I'm going to send them to school. Those are part of the plans that you need to determine the strategies of how you are going to achieve them. Next slide. So talking about starting early, I mean, this common sense, but sometimes common sense is not very common. You just need to spend less than you earn. If you spend everything that you earn, you are going to be broke. Some people are even worse off. They spend more than they earn, so they cover up with debt. Just like Nigeria, we spend more than we earn, so all of us the government is borrowing on our behalf. So instead of anybody having assets, we're having liabilities. So if they are going to share anything in Nigeria now, there will be an amount of debt that they will share to each one of us because we spend more than we earn. The ideal thing, which should be our aspiration, is for us to spend less that we earn, so that we are going to have something that we can save, that we can invest. And that's the difference between the rich and the poor. I mean, some of us, our net asset is what we are putting on. We have a 250,000 naira wig. We are in lace of maybe 500,000. We have a shoe also of 600,000. We are living in a rented house, and we are driving a Land Rover car, and we don't have any land. So you start to ask yourself, I mean, that plan you are working, where is it going to lead to? Most likely you are going to end broke. So we need to learn to spend less than we have. And one other thing I want to drop with us, that you can pay for something does not mean you can afford it. That you can pay for something does not mean you can afford it. So you go outside, you see a Tokumbo car, they said, how much is it? You said it's 5 million, and you have 5 million somewhere and you paid for it. Bam. But the truth of the matter is you can't afford that car, because by the time you get to the filling station and you want to fuel the car, and you get, I say, fill my tank 70 liters at almost 600, that's 42K. By the time you finish fueling the car, you just bought the car, coming back home, you filled it. They now told you that you need to get insurance for the car. Comprehensive insurance is now 5%. 5% of 5 million, how much is that again? That's 250,000 that you have to cover. Whereas it's all your money that you've used to pay for that car. So the following morning, you are driving out for whatever happens, you lost your tire, you have to buy a brand new tire, 120,000 naira, you don't have money to buy the tire. So you are going to go and call your friend and say, please, and that your friend does not have a car. That your friend does not have a car. You are calling him, please, my car, I've lost my tire. Can you borrow me money so that I will be able to buy tire for my car? And the guy is looking at you. You have a car I don't have. And I'm the one that does not have a car that have to now be borrowing your money. Then you look at that friend that's being wicked. The truth of the matter is, as at the time you were buying that car, you can pay for it, yes, but you cannot afford it. You should not be doing such. So let's have that at the back of our mind, that you have money to pay for something, that you have money to pay for a rent. Well, maybe I should share this example with us. So I was speaking with someone and was sharing the experience of, I think, an instrumentalist in a church who, I think they were paying him 180,000 or so a month. And he had accommodation problem, and the church wanted to help him. And they got accommodation for him that the church is paying for. And I think the rent was about either 3 million or 3.5 million per annum. And when they told me, I said, this instrumentalist, and they decide to stay in that place. So if at the end of the year, the church says, sorry, we are not able to pay that rent again, or the church says, sorry, we've gotten a better instrumentalist than you, please find your way. How will your 180,000 naira pay for the rent of 3.5 million? How? Your total salary, even if it's 200,000, is 2.4 million. You are living in an apartment that the rent is 3.5 million. Sorry, you're already broke, even though you are looking big and everybody is admiring you. You are already broke. So it's very important. We need to spend less than we had. And of course, I'm sure some of us are like, things are already tight. Yes, so things are tight. And yesterday it was tight. Today you said it's tighter. Okay, that's the reality. But for those of you who are working, I think I mentioned it last week. If you get to the office on Monday and they said, sorry, due to the situation in Nigeria, we are cutting, we have an option. It's either we sack people or we reduce people's salary by 10%. I'm sure most of us will accept the 10% pay cuts. And we will not die. We will survive. Of course, things will be tough. I mean, things will be tough. Before you felt well, like one of my friends was sharing her experience. She said growing up, she thought she can never live without an AC. By the time they increased the tariff in her house to almost 200 naira per kilowatt hour, she decided that she just suddenly found out that she can actually survive with a fan. So she went and bought fan, 13,000, 20,000 naira fan, put them everywhere, and they are blowing her very well. Before, she would tell me that if she's using fan, she will be sneezing, she will not be feeling fine. But now, she's feeling fine with the fan. What has happened? She has adjusted. So each one of us, we need to make a lifestyle adjustment. It's not going to be convenient. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough, but we just need to deny ourselves of certain things. Sometimes you just get to the barest minimum because you know where you are going. Some people will laugh at you. Look at her. Well, no problem. If you don't buy a 250,000 naira wig, you will still survive. I believe you me sincerely. The people you are trying to impress, they might not even know the value of that wig to start with. So you just suddenly realize that you are putting pressure upon yourself. You are spending on things that maybe people around you might not even know the value of it. And the life of a man does not consist on what he's putting on or what he has. There is more to that. Next slide. Spending less than you have is very, very important on this journey. The next one is delayed gratification. I mean, you are just out of school, you are earning zero income, zero. And you are living, you are surviving. Okay, maybe they give you some small pocket money. And you finish your youth service, of course, maybe they were paying you 30,000 or whatever, you are still surviving. Not long after you got a job in a bank or wherever, and in the month they were paying you 200, 250, whatever amount. And of course, for that first month, 2 months, it's as if it's heaven on earth. I mean, can life be this beautiful from zero to now 200, 250, whatever the amount? And before you have an umbrella, when you are going anywhere, it's raining, you bring your umbrella out, you get to your destination. You might be a bit wet, but you still get there. But now money has come. The first thing you do is you need to buy a car. I mean, it's that you give yourself all the reasons and the excuses and justification why the next thing you need to have is a car. So you struggle, all your savings just go, you get a car. Bam. The following year, before you are staying in your parents' house, your parents did not chase you out. They did not drive you out of the house, but you felt that office is now too far to the house. The same office that you were going before automatically just became very far. So you'd want to get an apartment of your own. So you save all your money, you get an apartment, 3-bedroom. You are not married though. You don't have any children, no, but you are still going to have a 3-bedroom because visitors will come, you will put all the justification together why that should happen. Basically, what you are doing is money that you should have saved, invest, that should have earned money for you later so that it can yield fruit. What you've done is you've consumed it. I saw somebody posting a lot of magic. Hey, that was my experience now. That was my experience. I got my second job. My first job, I was staying with somebody. I got my second job. I was staying with a friend. The friend did not drive me out. I just said, okay, let me get an apartment. I got a 3-bedroom bungalow all by myself. And I had to go and buy a car. Before, when I'm going to the office, once I get to the bus stop, I will see somebody that will pick me up. When I'm coming back home, I will see somebody that will bring me back home. But I felt there is money. There is money. So because there is money, and money will always ask to be spent. That's the first demand money will make on you. Will be shouting at you, spend me, spend me, spend me. And if you don't control yourself, you will just have to spend it. The car I bought then, I don't know where the car is, what has happened to the car is worth zero now. It's zero. I mean, if I've used that car to buy shares in a bank, I can imagine how much that shares will be worth today. So I'm not saying you should not buy a car, but just imagine if you delay it by just maybe a year or 2 years, you will not die. You will not. If I've just delayed it a bit by that time, maybe my financial situation will be different. So we need to understand delaying the gratification. Yes, it's your money, you've worked for it, others are doing it, but maybe you need to delay it a bit. Let investment comes before enjoyment. There will be a time for enjoyment. There will be a time for it. But when you are young, when you are starting life, don't start with enjoyment. And that's why if you look around you in Nigeria, you have many people who used to be very, very rich, and now they are broke. You look at them before, they had 3-4 cars, some 5 cars. Now they are struggling to maintain 1 car because all those things are actually liabilities. They take money away from you. And once you buy a car, when people see you and you are not with your car, before they ask about your health, before they ask about your family, before they ask about your children, the first thing they ask is, where is your car? So the car has become the most important thing in your life. We should not be. So there has to be delayed gratification. That phone you are buying, how many of the functions on the phone do you use? I still remember the time when you want to buy TV, they say multi-systems. It has 100 channels. How many channels can you watch? So you've paid money for things you will never use, paid money for things you don't need, paid money for things you will never benefit from. You are buying a phone. The only thing you do on the phone is WhatsApp, Instagram, what else again? Facebook, Snapchat, and you are investing how much on it. And some of us don't even use any of that to do business or to make money. Pictures, thank you. So you are just spending money on things that will continue to take money away from you. The money some of us spend on MTN to buy data. And I always ask people, please, How come you buy data from MTN? Now you can just borrow yourself sense and say, okay, let me buy the shares of MTN. So that at least when MTN makes money, they will share part of the money that I've made them to make. They will share it with me. But every day you are just buying data from them, buying data from them, buying data from them, and somebody else is the one making the profit and sharing it among themselves. And they are looking at you smiling. Delayed gratification. Next slide. Growing income faster than expenses. So there is something that is called Parkinson's law, and it applies in so many areas of life. But basically what Parkinson's law in this case is saying is, as your income increases, whether you like it or not, your expenses will just decide to increase to meet your income. So you're asking for salary raise, they increase your salary by 30%. The euphoria will only last for 1 month or maximum 2 months. After that, you are back to status quo. The salary increase is no longer enough. What has happened? As your salary is going up, your expense has also grown up because you allowed it. Because somebody is asking why. We allowed it. What I tell people is, for those of you that work in a place that they pay you bonus, don't include that bonus in the expenses you are going to make. Let that bonus go towards an investment. Let that salary increase goes towards an investment. And if you can, which is what I do, let those kind of things be deducted at source. So it does not even enter your hand for you to spend, because it is what really gets to you that you will spend. If that money is not there, you won't be able to spend it and you will not die. Because most of the things we are spending on, they are not a matter of life and death. We can afford not to spend on them and nothing will happen. Including the people that come to beg you for money is because you have. If you don't have it, nothing will happen. So what Parkinson's law tries to say is that your expenses will rise to meet your increased income unless you are on a mission. So I think one of the things you take from here is to make up our mind to be on a mission to reach our financial goals. So we will keep that expense in control. We will say, sorry, you cannot just continue to increase anyhow. I recognize that there is inflation, don't get me wrong. I recognize that prices are increasing. Yes, that is a fact, but that is not a reason for your expense to be growing to meet your income. Because if the income did not grow, you will still survive. Your expense will still be contained within what you had before. But because in our mentality, once that income increases, the expenses also wants to increase just to meet up with it. So please and please, control your expenses. It might mean denying yourself of certain things. It's not a crime to deny yourself, especially while you are still young. It's not a crime. I mean, all the eating out you want to do, you don't have to eat out. You can cook. I heard when Auntie Bimbo was telling you all the things you can contract out. That's meant for big people. You better learn to do things yourself and by yourself for yourself. Pastor. Why do I need a premium? Why should I pay a premium to get somebody to do something that I can do? When they are doing it, I will just cross leg. What am I using my time to do? What am I using my energy to do? For as long as you have the time, you have the energy, except that time can be used to do something that is going to earn more than what you are paying for. Please don't go that route. Except the 1 hour I'm going to use to cook my money, I'm going to use it to do something else that will earn me more than the amount I'm spending. If I get somebody here to do the memo, I will do it by myself. Apologies for those who are into business. I'm not trying to say you should not go into business, but the point to be made is, especially for most of us, if you have the time, you have the energy, there is no point contracting a service that you can do by yourself. There is no point contracting it out. Okay, next slide. I need to move very fast because of time. There are certain things we need to be aware of. The first one, I say value, not price. Most times you want to buy something and you tell the people, please, I want a good price for it. No, price is not what is important. What is important is value. Anytime you are buying something, anytime you are looking for something, let your focus be on value, value, value. And when you are making investments too, because that's part of the investment mistakes people make, they focus on price, they ignore the value. So if I say I want to buy the shares of a bank now, people will ask, what's the price? And they'll tell them GTB is about 39 naira, EcoBank is about 15 naira. And in their minds, they've concluded in their mind that GTB is more expensive than EcoBank, just because they've looked at the price. They've not asked themselves, what value does GTB have? What value does EcoBank have? And compare that value to make a decision. Most times, we overpay for many things just because of the price. A wristwatch. What's the purpose of a wristwatch? To tell you the time. So whether you buy a Rolex one or I buy a Casio one, the two of them will tell me the time. So if what I'm interested in is in value, why do I need to buy a Rolex wristwatch? Oh, it lasts better. That's how we try to deceive ourselves. The truth of the matter is you are trying to impress people. You are trying to make a statement. And that's what is driving our behaviors. Let's look for value. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we should not look for, what should I call it now? I'm trying to look for the right. I'm not saying we should not look for quality. Yes, quality. But quality and price are not the same thing. That something is expensive does not make it of a higher quality. It does not. That something is expensive does not mean it's more durable. That something is expensive does not mean it's delivering better value to you. So let's be clear about that. Let's focus on value every time. You want to buy something, you want to invest, you want to spend, let value be what is driving you. Don't get hooked on price. Oh, how much did you buy that your shoe? Okay, it's Gucci. It's just about $1,000 or so. And so what? If you use that your Gucci shoe to step on a nail, it's going to pierce through and punch your leg and blood will come out. So what's the function of a shoe? Number one function is to protect your leg. There will be a time when you don't need to stress yourself to spend all those kind of money. A time like that will come. But for now, no, that should not be your priority. Don't compete with those who are wearing Gucci shoes. It's like the joke that people crack. If you enter a plane, you have first class, you have business class, you have economy class. At the end of the day, you will all arrive at the same time. And if you are not careful, those in economy class can even get down before you say. Of course, there is comfort. If you are in first class, there is a lot of comfort, which is good. I mean, everybody likes comfort. But I'm not sure at this stage of life, I'm not sure that I need to be running after comfort. There will be a time that comfort may be the priority. But for now, don't jeopardize your future on the altar of comfort. Don't. A time will come, and I can assure you that time will come when you will be able, you won't have to stress yourself before you do certain things. Now you are stressing yourself. By the time you buy a car, there is this other joke. You buy a car, You've used everything you have to buy the car. And you know a small child. The child does not know anything. They just know a car is a car. The child just picked stone and went to that your brand new car and decided to write your name on it. Just write it there. Come on, laugh. And you come out, hey, brand new car that I've used all my life savings to buy. I have not even, people have not even seen it to congratulate me. I have not used it to pose at all. And the child that have used stone to write something on it. Then you bring the child, you started beating the child. Ask yourself, are you beating the child to correct the child, or you are beating the child out of anger? But that's the truth, because you have spent money to buy something that you cannot really afford, but you can pay for it. You can't afford it. Some of us we borrow to buy cars, you borrow to buy liabilities, you borrow to buy clothes, you borrow to do ashwebi, you borrow to do party, your 30th birthday, everybody must be there. You borrow to do this, borrow to do that. I think there is a session tomorrow on borrowing. Stabbing boy, you are too fast for me. Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I think my hand touched the mouse. Is it this one?
No, we've not read this.
Where we are.
No, yes,
Yeah,
this
yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Okay. You borrow to do everything. That should not be. Look for value. And believe you me sincerely, you can buy a shirt that is not expensive, and people will look at you and they will be wondering, where did you get this from? My mom used to say something. I will say it in Yoruba. I don't know how to translate it. The best way to translate it in English. It will say, "Otolowo otoni fitting," which means you can use your money to buy expensive clothes, whatever. Somebody will just go and buy one cheap Ankara for only God knows where. And when they see the two of you together, people are still admiring the 5,000 naira Ankara, and you are decked in your 250,000 naira lace. And they are not even giving you a second look. And you spend all the money. You are the one that will now be asking them, did you not see this clothes I'm wearing? I bought it for 250,000. Who asked you? We don't want to know. We don't want to know. And somebody say a packaging is key. Not true. If Dangote wear slippers out now, bathroom slippers, it's style. Everybody will start to copy. He does not need to package himself. His asset, his net worth, who he is what he's packaging in. But when you don't have something, that's when you go the extra mile to impress people. You can be neat, you can be smart, you can be good without breaking the bank. But we try to justify what we do. Apologies to bankers. That's why bankers, they will wear suit, they will wear tie, they will spend 20 years at their place of work. And by the time they finish, when they leave the office, within a year or two, they are on the road. It's as if they never even worked before. So many people like that, because they were focusing on price, acquiring liabilities instead of acquiring assets. Next slide. Herd mentality. And this is very important when it comes to investment. In democracy, they say majority carries the vote. But in investment, majority are not always right. And it's because of a lot of reasons. For example, stock market is the only market that I know of that people don't like to buy when things are cheap. I will repeat that. The stock market is the only market that I know that people don't like to buy when things are cheap. Do you know why? The price of GTB today, let's assume, is 40 naira. If tomorrow the price moves from 40 to 30, everybody will panic and they will start to sell. They will just be selling. Then it moves from 40 again, from 30 again, it moves to 20. Then everybody will just start to run away, they will sell. Whereas in every reasonable market, what happens? If they tell you now that, okay, the price of Gary has dropped by 50%, what do? You buy more. Standard practice. Every other market, when prices drop, you buy more. But when it happens in the stock market, people will start to run. And that's why Warren Buffett said, be fearful when others are greedy. When the price is going up, everybody wants to buy in the stock market. Whereas in every other market, by the time they tell you that price of things have increased, maybe before you used to buy 5, you reduce the number you are buying. So be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. So when everybody is running away, maybe that's when you should go there. And when everybody is going there, maybe that's when you should run away. Don't follow the crowd. Because most times, when the crowd is running to a place, they don't even know where they are running to. There have been an incident that there was an emergency and everybody just started running. And immediately you saw them running, you also joined them. Somebody saw you too and joined them. So everybody was running. And you ask them, why are you running? They don't even know again. They just realized that it's because they are running. So I also started running. So sometimes you might need to have what they call a contrarian position, a position that is different to others. And when you do that, you will look crazy because, I mean, you are the odd one out. You are the only one taking a different position. But most often, that's where people make money, when they take a position different from the crowd, especially in the stock market. People want to buy when price is going up. But when price is coming down, they are very fearful. During COVID, the price of Zenith went as low as, I think, 11 naira per share. People did not buy. Why? They are afraid. As far as they are concerned, it's going to fall more. So they did not buy. So imagine if you have bought Zenith at 11 naira, and now the share of Zenith is about 30-something naira. And this is a space of maybe 2 or 2.5 years. But people will refuse to buy because the crowd at that time was just selling. So you also joined them to sell. So don't follow the crowd. Next slide. Yes, Ponzi schemes. And I will spend some time on this. So I believe in slow and steady wins the race, but I've changed it a bit. Slow and steady wins the race only when fast and steady is not around. So you need to be fast and you need to be steady. But over the years, people have lost money through what they call Ponzi schemes. And it's not strange. It's not only in Nigeria. It's not new. Actually, the name actually came from the name of a person who duped many people in America as far back as 1920s. So there is nothing new under the sun. Now, what are the things about Ponzi scheme that you need to understand? Number one, they offer you unusually high profits. Unusually high profits. Sorry, please, let me just take this call. Apologies.
Can you all please put your questions in the Q&A box if there's anything you would like us to talk about as we wrap up after Pastor Niyi's session? Yeah.
Apologies, please. Sorry. So you have the Ponzi schemes because they are offering you higher than usual returns. When you start to see things like that, you need to ask questions. And most times they even tell you that that return is guaranteed. In investment, and I will repeat, in investment, nothing is guaranteed. There is an element of risk associated with every investment that you take. It does not matter how secured you think it was. Let me share another example with us. A friend of mine many years ago balloted for a car and he won. I did not have money to pay for the car. So he said, okay, I'm expecting some money. Please load me some money and I'll use it to buy the car. And I did. Another mistake on my part, but I did. And every time he sees me, he will just laugh. And he will say, you better be praying for me that I should not die, because if I die now, your money has entered voicemail. So it looks like a simple transaction, but there's a risk there, because if the guy should die, who am I going to hold to come and pay back the money? The wife, the children, or who? So when they bring all these schemes and they tell you, no, there is no risk, it's risk-free, everything is all right, just be very, very careful. Sometimes they even ask you to bring other investors, because that's the style. They need to get a lot of people. So, and they need evidence that they are paying. So they pay you and you spread the testimony, go and bring others, and you start to bring them. And because they are paying you, you are encouraging others to come so that they will also come to be a part of it. But at the end of the day, the scheme will collapse. And I'm sure most of us have many examples of such things. You can type them in the chat. Examples of schemes where they've promised high investments or high returns, where they were paying some people. And because of that, everybody was bringing their friends. Of course, you share the good story, but at the end of the day, either the scheme crashed or the people behind the scheme just took the money and they ran away. I can give you examples from Nospetco. I will talk about Nospetco later for those of us that know about it for a reason. So basically, for every investment opportunity that you are being offered, understand the return, and there is something called a risk-reward mechanism. The higher the return, the higher the risk. So they will tell you the lowest investment you can make is investment in treasury bills in Nigeria. I think it has gone up now to, I can't remember, maybe about 7%. So any investment you make that is giving you more than 7% comes with a risk. It does not mean that they are fake. It does not mean that they are a scam. It just means there is a risk of you losing money. I need to understand that before you make the investment. Once you start to see somebody promising you more than 30% and they are guaranteeing it, you need to start to ask some questions. And some of the questions you should ask is, what exactly are they doing to make that money that they will pay you? Because most times they are not doing anything. No. They are the ones I used to call Ikoye Greek. They tell you they are planting cassava, they are planting rice, they are planting corn, and their offices are Ikoyi. Even oil companies are finding it difficult to pay for offices at Ikoyi. You say you are a farmer and your office is at Ikoyi. They will now ask you to come and buy slot. So you buy one slot. They are planting rice, so, and you have not seen their rice in the market before. Never. You've never seen go to any market, go to any supermarket, go to any shop, you won't see their product there. And they are promising you within 6 months, they will double your money. They have insurance cover. They have this. Sorry, this is introduction to losing money. That's what they are teaching you. They are just giving you the introduction to losing money. There used to be the days of the many finance houses in Nigeria that will offer you ridiculous amount. Why banks are saying, okay, maybe your bank will offer you 10%. They will say they will offer you 50% in the same country. Or they are doing the same businesses. So, and you carry your money there. Of course, they pay you the first one because the one they paid you is from the money that somebody else brought for them that they are using to pay you. They are just using your money to jollof. After they've gotten enough, the next time you get there, you just find out that that office has been turned to a restaurant. And you get there. I was here last year. You know, there are certain things when it happens, you start to doubt your own sanity. You start to wonder whether you are normal. I came to this place last week. I think I saw an office there. I thought there are staff there, but now they are preparing very lovely jollof rice in the place. And you are wondering, but I was here. Yes, you were there. You have been scammed very well because you have invested in a business you don't understand. You have invested in a business that is promising you abnormal returns. You have decided to do business with people that are not registered, people that don't have any track record, and that their track record should not be that, do you know that, me, I did it too, and they paid me. Let me talk about Nospetco for a minute. So I work in an oil company, and I have many friends who put money in Nospetco there. I don't know how many of us know about them. And so they, for whatever reason, when these my friends are making money, they don't like to tell me. But after some time, they mentioned it to me. So I asked, what do they do? They said they are an oil company. Where is their office? Their office is around, I think, Martin Street in Isaleko. Oil company in Martin Street around Balogun. That sounds very strange. Okay. So I decided to take a walk around the place. And when I got there, I saw these malams using some kind of can to fetch water. An oil company. They are fetching water with can. Okay. So I asked more questions. So what exactly, which oil company? They say they are into downstream. Okay. So what do? They said they're into distribution of petroleum products. So I started asking, how many filling stations do they have? I'm not sure at that time whether they have up to 4 or 5 filling stations. Okay. How many trucks do they have? Maybe I saw maybe about only 4 or 5 trucks. And these are the people that you people are taking all your money to. And you think they are, after some time, they say they are into something mining. So the story is always changing. The summary is, after some time, when they've gotten the critical mass, they don't have money to start to pay those critical mass, the thing will just crash. So the first people to join will make money. They will be the one to share the testimony for others, to bring them in. And once they have enough people, that's the end. So in summary, be careful of investment that offer abnormal returns. Not all of them are scams. So there will be investment that can actually bring abnormal returns for you. But it also means that you are taking on higher risks. So there is always a risk of losing your money. Now, if you are not in your 20s or 30s, please run away from such investment. As somebody who is about to retire or who just retire, don't go and use your gratuity money to say you want to double it. You don't need to double it. Itato has God helped you. Just stay where you are. Just be resting. Don't go and take unnecessary risk. If you lose that money, you can't make any other money back. You're already 60. The money you use 35 years to make, you are giving it to one young boy because he's speaking Queen's English to you. When you lose that money, where is the 35 years you are going to spend to make the money back again? It's not going to happen. Okay? So look out for high returns. Look out for guaranteed returns. Look at when they come with some flashy names. There is no history about them. They just come from nowhere. And there is no product that you see. And most of them, they are not registered. They are not regulated. Even though they try to lie to you that they register with SEC, is a liar. Ask them to give you the type of registration they have. Some of them will tell you, they are insured. Ask them which type of it. I can have a car insurance now. I've insured my car. And I say because of that, your investment money you are bringing is insured. It's a lie. The money will enter voicemail. And I don't have, so pardon me, I have little sympathy for people that claim that they have been scammed. And the reason is because greed was what is driving them. Common sense should tell us that if you say you are producing rice and I don't see your rice in the market, there is a problem. If I go to the market, at least you know people, if somebody is saying they are producing soap, I should see the soap. If you say you are producing rice, I should see the rice. If you say you are planting corn, somebody should be buying the corn. But all this one that is only invisible people that tends to patronize them, there is a big problem. Next slide. Okay, debt-free. By the time you are getting to the point that you have the finish line, you finish your working career, please be debt-free. Owe no man anything, but just to love them. At that stage, that's not the time to be borrowing to buy car, to be borrowing to build house. No, 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 no. Leave those things behind. Be debt-free. Use this period to enjoy yourself. This is the time for you to enjoy yourself. Yes, if you borrow money, then you can use leverage to make more money. Yes, when you are young, do that. What they don't tell you is the leverage you use to make more money, if it goes against you, that same leverage will magnify your losses. I will share this example with us again. 2007, 2008 in Nigeria, the stock market was something else. It became like a Ponzi scheme. They will tell you, just buy these shares, and within 3 months, it's going to triple. And people were doing it, and it was happening because a lot of manipulation, so many things were going on. Then all the banks started offering you margin. You bring 1 million naira, they can give you 3 million naira. So you have 4 million naira to invest. Of course, if it doubles, 4 million became 8 million. You just remove the 3 million and pay the bank. So you are left with 5 million. It's good if it happens like that. But when your 4 million, your own 1 million, plus the 3 million you borrow from bank, making 4 million, you invested 4 million, the price crashed, it now became 1 million. So you have only 1 million, you are owing 3 million. The asset you have is 1 million. How do you pay the 3 million back? Then at that point, the things that you have, you will start to sell them to pay the bank. So understand debt, understand how you use it, understand when you use it, and understand when you need to say bye-bye to debt. I have like 3 or 4 credit cards. I've never paid interest on any one of them. Okay, I paid interest on one once. I'm not a good bank customer. Whereas you have some people, the interests on their credit card debt is difficult for them to get out of it, because credit card debt is the most expensive debt you can ever have. So this is speaking to people who are getting close to the finish line of retirement, of their working life. Please live and be debt-free, and don't come back to debt. Say bye-bye under no condition at all. I know people talk about mortgage and everything. Thank God in Nigeria, when you say you own a house, from the roof to the foundation belongs to you. We are not like abroad people that will send us picture and say, hey, they've just bought a house, the house belongs to them. The house actually belongs to the bank, because they will continue to pay and pay and pay. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should not get a mortgage. I'm just saying know the stage you are in life before you start to take on some debt, and understand that debt can work against you. If you live abroad, there was a time you are hearing foreclosures. People collected mortgage, interest rate went up. Some of them lost their jobs, and they are not able to pay the mortgage back. They can't sustain it, and so they will lose the house. So it's not as sweet as we tend to make it sound, but there is benefit in using other people's money, and debt is one of them. Equity is another way. You can get people to put equity in whatever you are doing. Next slide. I think my time is up. So by the time you are getting to the finish line, you need to be sure that at that stage you have multiple streams of income. And if you see a table there, you have a table that has 4 legs, and you have a table that have one support, one leg. If you have just one income source, that table is like the one with one leg. If anything happens, that table will collapse. But when you have 4, 5, 6, 7, Even if you remove one leg, the table is still standing. And that's how I want each one of us to be, that we will be standing. Because things do happen. Things do happen. People lose their job. It's not, losing your job should not be the end of the world. It should not be. Because one day that job will end anyway. You just need to prepare yourself for those eventualities. I mean, it's by the time you are 40, between 40 and 50, the tendency is there. In most establishments, I mean, they look at you, you're already 45, 50. Most of the things you can do. Maybe I should share this experience with us. I used to work in a consulting firm. I won't mention the name, a very popular consulting firm. And one of the things I found out there then was, by the time you work for 2 years, it's actually an accounting firm. By the time you work there for 2 years, they don't have that much need of you, because at that point, they can just get another new person to come and do your work. The work is not that complicated that they cannot get somebody else to come and do. So just imagine I have a gate man whose job is to open and close gates. That's his job. And every year, I have to be increasing his salary. Then from today becomes senior gateman, experienced gateman, vice president gateman, president gateman. So he has reached the peak. One day I will ask myself, is his job not just to open and close gates? I can get somebody else who will collect half that salary to be doing that work. Or is it not true? I don't need the senior vice president gateman to be opening the gate and I'm paying expensive money when somebody else can just, a junior gateman can do the same job. So senior gateman, you can go home. We have a junior gateman that can do the job. That's the reality of the corporate life. That's the reality of where we work. There will be somebody junior who will collect half the pay to do the same thing that you are doing. So your job is not an entitlement and they don't owe you anything. And that's why you need to continue to improve yourself so that you make yourself relevant. You need to continue to show that beyond what you are employed to do, you can also add value, you can do other things. So even when they say there is somebody junior that can do your work, they say, but there are these other things that this guy can do that the boy will not be able to do. That's how you become irrelevant. But the truth of the matter is, I mean, people do lose their jobs, and that should not be the end of life. And the way to do that is when you have multiple streams of income. I know Madam Bibo has already talked about active income, the things you need to do that requires your time, that requires your energy before you make money. But there are certain things that you don't need to do anything, the money just comes. I mean, you can write a book. And by the time you write the book, you only suffer the problem once. Once you've written the book, spend the energy of writing the book. Every time somebody buys the book, you just collect something. You can develop an app. Once you develop the app, you don't need to do anything again. The app is more or less running. Every time somebody downloads the app, you get something. You can be a content creator. You put something on YouTube, every time somebody click, subscribe, they show an advert, you make money. You will be sleeping when all that is happening. The only thing that will wake you up is, an alert has just entered. That's what, okay, you now wake up, okay, something has entered. So that's what we meant by passive income. You only spend the time, the energy, the effort once. After that, the thing just starts to come quietly and quietly and quietly. And the beauty of it is nobody will know what is happening to you. Nobody. They will just, it's only you and your account balance that is reflecting what is going on. So I won't say if you have just one income, you will be poor, not necessarily so. But if you have just one income, you run a risk that if anything happens to that singular source of income, there could be a challenge. And for those of us getting close to retirement, we need to start to think about life in retirement. We need to start to think very, very well about it. And for those who are planning to japa, especially you are in your late 40s, 50s, you want to japa, I won't say you should not japa, but something you should know and start to think about is when you go abroad, is when you start to work that you start to contribute to the pension. So if you go at 50 and the retirement date is 65, you will just have contributed to the pension pot for only 15 years. That money will not, and I emphasize, will not be enough to sustain you at retirement. So if you are living at 50 around that age, please don't burn the bridge, because Nigeria may have to welcome you back. Not because you've not succeeded, not because you've not done well. It's just because the time you have spent is not enough for the money to compound for you to be able to sustain you. That's something most people are ignoring for now, but it's a matter of time. It's going to come, and we all will face the reality. Next slide. Okay, estate planning. Again, I will just tell you the story of my grandmother. She was supposed to go for an eye operation, and she said she's not going because she was afraid she was going to die. She was not educated and illiterate, so she called my brother and said, okay, please write this thing down. When I die, this my cloth should go to this person. This thing that I have should go to that person. This other thing should go to that person. And for many years after, she did not die. But the lesson for me was she was already clear as to how things should be done at her death. She has something that is speaking for her, even in death. So we don't need to argue after her death as to what should happen. No, it was clear. So we need to think about estate planning. And you don't need to have plenty of things before you think about it. You don't need to be old before you start to think about it. Even now, you have an asset. Start to think, who are the people important to me? Who are the people depending on me? Who are the people, what are the things that I would like to use this thing to do? So let's think about that. And the last slide, I think. Okay. Health is wealth. It does not matter how much money you make. If you are not healthy, you can't enjoy that money. So please and please, whatever stage you are in your life, let your health come first. Don't use chasing of money to kill your health. After you've made all the money and you are not able to enjoy it, you can't eat the food. The money is there. It's your cook that will be enjoying the food because of all the restrictions doctors will have placed on you because of how you've not treated your body well. Go for regular medical checkups. Most of us, our cars, we service them very, very well. Service your body. Service your health. Take good care of it so that at the end, you will have good health to enjoy life, because there's a time to enjoy life. You know, at retirement, you can start to now have some expensive hobbies. There are people that I know, they travel abroad every quarter. They are not begging anybody. They just travel and they just enjoy their money. That I believe should be our goal. That I should believe should be our aspirations. But you need to be in the best of health to enjoy the labor and your investment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Can you people please give Engineer Pastor Niyi a virtual hand clap? It's been a loaded session. So please take a cup of water because we have questions for you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tammy.
I'm not like Coach Bim, but I don't need to drink water.
Okay, I mean, thank you, Mommy Fola. I see you online. Thank you, Collins. Your contributions made me laugh a lot. Kabiru, thank you. Very good contributions all through. Yes, David, thank you. Patoye, okay. Thank you, everybody. Timmy Lain, thank you so much. I see like 3 people with your link. I know with your name, it means your friends signed up with your name. Yes, Adasa, I see you. I see you all. Well done, everybody. You all agree with me. It's been a very interesting evening. Patricia, yeah, thank you. I'm excited. I'm always happy when I bring experienced people to speak to us and they make impacts very well like this. I'm happy for, I think, as at the last count, I think about 50, let me see now. We have about 55 people apart from the panelists, yeah. And so, yes, thank you, Tomiwa Aderibigbe, yes. So it's been a very interesting, yes, Enyafe, yeah. Thank you very much. It's been a very interesting evening. We have a few questions. And maybe in the next 10, 15 minutes, we should wrap up because we have two beautiful sessions tomorrow. Listening to Engineer Niyi, you know, I call him engineer or pastor, depending on the one that comes into my mouth. You know, he was warning us about debt, indebtedness, and borrowing and all of that. You know, he's a man of wide experience, and so his warnings are not to be taken lightly. But he also told us that we have a speaker tomorrow who will talk to us about credits, about debts, about borrowing, and how we can leverage on that to grow wealth. It's very important that it's only 2 hours left for this workshop. We have 1 hour with Shayo Tola Adenaike tomorrow. She's based in Canada, but she has experience over, she's worked in Nigeria, worked in the Netherlands, and now she's based in Canada. So I would like you to come listen to her talk about credits. And it's deliberate that she's the one coming to talk about credits because she's got experience from Nigeria and then the Western world, Canada, where debts can be used to grow wealth. Mr. Ayode Jiebo will be speaking to us on investments tomorrow. Pastor Niyi has spoken to us about, you know, shared with us practical experiences, you know, from the live. Yes, he's a pastor, engineer, financial education advocate. Yes, and he's Lagbaja as well. He just showed us his face today. He doesn't show us his face. So tomorrow we would have Mr. Ayode Jiebo talk to us about investments. You know, Pastor Niyi is warning us. He has warned us about the things we shouldn't do and the things we should do when it comes to investments. But we should still invest because without investments, we can't grow wealth. Now, he's also a pastor. He's the MD of Optimus by AfriInvest, and he has wide experience and his qualifications are all over the world. He's got accounting, finance qualifications from the United Kingdom, from Nigeria, from Canada, and from North America, I think. So please join us tomorrow to listen to him talk about investment in the current economic landscape. You know, it's bad, but is it so bad that we should do nothing? So he's going to tell us opportunities and things that we need to do to invest and to grow our wealth. Quickly, I don't want us to exceed 1:30, and there are some questions, and I don't know how long it will take Pastor to answer the questions. And thank you very much, very distinguished people on the call this evening. Pastor Niyi wasn't sure of the demographics because I didn't share it with him. I mean, we don't have the latest about in terms of attendance. We do have for registration. But Pastor, sir, we do have some honorable senior magistrates of Lagos State Judiciary. I think I see about 3 of them online. And then we also have Honorable Sunday Oladapo, who is a politician and joined us from Ikorodu. So we do have some senior people. I'm not sure if this is Dr. Okoha, but I do see Okoha there. Yeah, there is a council member of the Charterist of Bankers of Nigeria, Mrs. Rafiat Onitiri. She's also on the call, and they've been part of us from the beginning. So it's not only our young mentees and young undergraduates that I'm so happy to see online. We do have some very senior people joining us. Mr. Oladapo Adefolaju is a very experienced personnel, and he's joined us from Canada as well. So it's not only the young ones that joined us today. And I thank you, Pastor Sal, for sharing all that you did so carefully with the experiences. Thank you so much for the illustration of the multiple streams of income with the tables. I have something else now to be able to use to teach very well when I'm teaching it next. I like that illustration. So I'll go quickly to the questions. It looks as if Pastor tried to answer them, but I still want you to talk about them for other people to gain. Because the question that Amaka had, for example, I already had written it out. I was going to ask you about that. So Amaka Njoku is asking, what does it take to invest in shares? And how much do I need to do that? I had written that question, and I had put as an extra, I don't know if you want to talk to us about it, how much you started your first investment in the capital market with. But if it's too personal, please don't answer. But Amaka wants you to tell us what it takes to invest in shares and how much she needs to start that.
Okay, thanks. So there is nothing personal. I think my first investment, if I remember, was done on my behalf by my father, which is some of the things we also need to learn. It's one of the mistakes. A community bank was being floated in our local government, and because he wanted to associate with them, not because of any due diligence, he decided to buy some shares for me then from that community bank. And you can guess what happened. We lost all the money there. Okay. The next one was the shares that I bought in the First Bank, I think. I think it was then 4 Naira per share. I think they should be around 1994 or thereabout. The 94, 95, around that range. 4 Naira per share, and I bought 1,000 shares. So I started with 4,000 Naira. Now, what does it take to start? I mean, right now, because of a lot of development that have made things easy in Nigeria, you need a stockbroker to be able to buy shares, and some of them are online. I think most of them will open account with you for maybe between 5 and 10,000. But the important thing is knowing what to buy. Don't ask me here what you should buy. And the reason is because the shares you are buying is a function of your personality. It's a function of your age. It's a function of where you are in life. For example, if you are getting close to retirement, so you are already retired, if you are going to be buying any shares, you should be concerned about the dividend that they pay, because you need money to continue to enjoy your life. So that's what you are looking at. But if I'm just starting work, I don't care about their dividend. Even if they don't pay any dividend, I'm not bothered. I'm only interested in their growth. For as long as a company that is growing, I'm happy, because I don't need the dividend to do anything now. So that's why where you are in life, your personality determines what you should buy. But in terms of the process, you just open an account with a stockbroker, just the same way you open an account with a bank, and that's it. Some of them are online, and you can do everything you need to do online. I hope that helps. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. This one is also very important. I see that you try to answer, but I think for the sake of others. So Samuel Fatoye says, absurd as this may sound, is there a mathematical way of knowing that I can finally afford something?
So there is really no mathematical way. And again, it's all about who you are. So we are not equal. We are not faced with the same challenges. We are not the situations we find ourselves are not the same. But if you ask me, for me, I want to buy a car. As a matter of principle, I can only buy a car from the returns of my investment. So that's standard. So if I get a dividend and the dividend is big enough to buy a car, I will buy a car. So that's me enjoying the fruit of my labor. I won't use a loan to buy a car. I'm not saying you cannot. I'm just speaking for myself. I wouldn't use a loan to buy a car. Why should I be paying 20% interest on something that will lose value immediately they bring it out of the showroom? Now, what will I use to determine if I can afford to buy a car? That means I can buy the car, and I can even self-insure the car. So I will have enough to the point that even if the car was stolen and I have not insured it, I can replace it. That way, I'm not stressing myself to buy the car. I don't know whether you get my point. I'm not stressing myself. I should not be stressing myself to acquire liabilities. No. I can stress myself to make an investment, but I won't stress myself to start to acquire liabilities. I won't stress myself because I want to buy a cloth and I will go and borrow to buy a cloth. They did not swear for me now. Why would I do that? So that to me is the way to contextualize it about something you can afford, not just because you can make the payment. Because after the payment, there are so many other things that goes with it, other expenses that you want to bear. Can you also be able to pay conveniently for those expenses? Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. And the maintenance cost of whatever you're buying, so you need to check all that out. There's a question from Collins, FCBK Egwom. What do you think about Forex scalping, Pastor? Forex scalping, Forex trading?
So I'm assuming it's Forex trading. Forex trading is not a scam, okay? So let's be clear about that. They are just trading in currencies. It's a very volatile market. It is very, very risky. I think I shared my experience last week, where I think I just came back from UK. I had £5,000, and somebody came to me and said, you see, I can be doing trading for you, a reputable person. Some of us will know him, so I won't mention his name. Very, very reputable, a very senior pastor. And so £5,000 I gave to him, and the number of my other friends. I said, I know this person is reputable. He's my pastor. You know, people respect pastor a lot. So he's my pastor. So they brought money. And it's supposed to be 5% every month. And he said he has been trading, he has been making 5% every month. Okay. I can tell you confidently that we lost all the money. I can tell you confidently that at the end of the day, the pastor had to run away from Lagos because he could not even afford to live in Lagos after he has lost the money, because it is a very, very volatile market. High risk, high returns. So if you think you can manage it, there is no problem. It's not a scam. But ask people, why instead of making money from Forex trading, they are making money from teaching you to make money. Let me tell you something. Nobody will teach you the secret of their wealth. I would just leave it at that.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I'm trying to have 4 more minutes. No, Gideon, we haven't answered that question. And okay, let me ask Pastor. So Gideon is asking that is investing in affiliate marketing ideal?
Okay, so it depends on your definition of affiliate marketing. So there are companies, because they want to push their products out. So again, underline product. They have a product that they want to push out. So they want to cut out or cut off the established distribution channels, and they want to establish their own distribution channels. So they have affiliate marketing. And what they do is they make you to sell and you share out of the profit. So there is nothing bad about it. But you see, the challenge is most of these products, you have a finite market. So some people are the one that started selling that product. And sometimes those products are not a must buy. So you are doing, is it for, I think Forever Living product was one of the earliest. So you are doing Forever Living product. Everybody has their downline. By the time it gets to you and they give you the product to sell, you might not have anybody to sell to. So you will use it by yourself, for yourself, your own money that you want to use to invest. You now start to use it on yourself. So there is nothing wrong with affiliate marketing. It is not a scam. You just need to understand that what they are doing is buying and selling, And if you don't have the gift, the talent to be able to convince people to buy, there are some people, if they put sand inside the bowl for you, they can convince you to buy it. Sand, they put inside bowl, they will convince you and you will buy. Now, if you don't have that gift and talent, be careful with affiliate marketing, or else you will use your money to buy the products and you will consume it yourself. Thank you. I hope that helps.
Yes, sir. Very clear. Very clear. We will wrap up very soon. It's been so much fun. We really do have a very interactive session. This evening, we've had a very interactive session with loads of comments from the chat box. And thank you so much. Everybody that is commenting is noted. Dorcas and I are we're taking records, because that prize has to go to the best of you all. And who knows, maybe some people will give us more money for the prizes. On behalf of everyone attending, I want to thank Pastor Niyi and the other panelists that will join us tomorrow. It's been a very interesting session. Pastor, people are asking where your church is, but I won't tell them. Ifeanyi is asking now, where's your church? And then there's somebody, I think he says his name is Land Doctor, saying that Pastor Niyi Church, I want to go now. Thank you all so much for making it a fun-filled evening. The lessons are there. There was something we said when we were wrapping up last week, and I had said at that point that 5,000 naira between now and the end of the year, will not kill any of us. And we can start investing in federal government of Nigeria bonds from like 5,000 naira, and you can forget it there. But, the stockbroking companies that Pastor Niyi mentioned, 10,000, 15,000, most of them will open accounts for us. And you just forget it. And, and when you start, you'll be motivated to want to do more. Now, we talked about, getting professional help. In spite of my background, I'm very careful when I invest. I talk to people, because I don't know if it's my mother or my father, I don't know, maybe something I read online, but somebody should have taught me that the person that asks for this road description doesn't get lost. And there was something Pastor Niyi also said last week. I think he said something about if you're going to fall at all, make sure you fall carefully, right? So he's told us again today that every form of investment that has opportunity for reward does have risk. And so it's for us to manage this risk very well. I thought Pastor Niyi was a bit brutal when he said he has no mercy or pity for anybody who has been scammed. But by the time he finished his session, I was already standing beside him saying, I totally agree with Pastor Niyi that any man or woman who has attended any of our financial literacy programs and still gets scammed is destined to be scammed. There's no reason why after listening to our sessions that you should still fall into wrong hands. And we also try to share as much as possible online. The tutorials that I put online, I try as much as possible to share what I learn, what I know from people's experiences and all of that. And I've posted before on Ponzi schemes, and Pastor Niyi's slide was so detailed about that today. We had said there are two things to watch. You watch yourself, your own hunger and your own greed, your own personality, and then you also watch those people who are coming to you, like Pastor Niyi says, to sell sand. So you have to watch yourself and watch them. Check my pages online, you will get all these things. Tomorrow is going to be beautiful. I said last week that it took me a very long time to understand that I can build wealth from debt, okay? I agree with Pastor Niyi, you don't borrow for things that you cannot afford, but there are opportunities to use debt to grow wealth. In the chat box, I was just laughing when I was reading it earlier on. Somebody said he's afraid of, what's the name of all these people that give money? He says he's running away from there. I can't remember the particular money lender that he puts, and I just had a good laugh. So we're not talking of that. Of course, nobody would encourage you to take all those 10 minutes debts and that make you live above your means. That's not what we're talking about. But how can you take debt and grow your wealth? There are opportunities there. And for a very long time, I didn't know